Cameras rolling and action.
Cool.
What is happening, beautiful people? Ikamalam Osipile, and welcome to another episode of Writings on the Wall. I don't know which one it is.
It's cool.
Writings on the Wall. And by my side, I've got my G.
Easy.
Sim, how's it going, my dog?
Yeah, no, I'm chilling. It's been a good week.
Yeah.
You know, what happened? Nah, man, just work things, really. Just work things and then gym, you know, trying to be consistent there.
Easy.
What else? Yeah, other than that, I think we spoke about some of the things like catching L's in life and whatnot and trying to like bounce back. I won't mention where we're catching the L's, you know.
Expose.
But
easy, yeah.
Yeah, but then just catching L's and
Sure.
being able to bounce back as a G. So yeah. And in your side, what's happening?
Nah, man. This week, not much. Yeah, I did say this thing throws me off.
Yeah.
But it's good. My side this week has been... How has it been this week? Today's been tiring.
Yeah.
I think the first 2 days I was catching a quad L. I caught a big
Of course.
What day was
you
it? I
have
think
to.
Tuesday. I even posted I took a
Yeah.
big L.
Work or just life?
I woke up. So Tuesday I wake up, ne?
Sure.
So I went to sleep. I didn't realize umbani yapel. So I go to sleep and then I wake up in the morning, switch on around 4. Put up the geyser.
Like, hey, yo.
Nah, it was still there. Put up the geyser. Then I go take a nap because it takes about an hour.
Yeah.
So I put it up. I go sleep. Then I wake up after 5. I think past 5.
Yeah.
5:30. When I check, the microwave is off. The lights are off. I'm like, what's going on? And then I go check, umbani is done.
Ish.
So then obviously it wasn't enough to keep the geyser warm.
Yeah.
So that hour was wasted. So then I had to then put it up again for another hour.
Geyser, ne?
Yeah.
But then you had to buy umbani.
Yeah, I had to
first.
buy umbani,
Oh.
then put it up for another hour. So I was
Another nap.
I was light for his part. But it wasn't a nice nap because now I'm awake
Sure.
and I'm anxious.
Yeah.
So it threw me off. I think it was Tuesday. It threw me off. I was late as pan.
Yeah.
You know, but I got it done. I think the most important thing, man, I was watching a podcast earlier this week, and you know, they're discussing different things. But I think one thing that stood out was it was around the perception of the world, yeah, bro.
Okay.
I don't want to start off deep, but it was around the perception of the world.
Sure.
And if you noticed this morning when I posted, I was talking about basically idle hands. What does it say?
Yeah.
Idle hands are the devil's workshop. Yeah, boy. And idle lips are his mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. And I find that a lot of times we spend a lot of effort trying to look at the negatives that are happening around us. Yeah, boy.
Sure.
Like I'm just tired and then I want to rest and not do anything, or I can't do this, I can't do that. And when you sit and you try to move away from, I think what is your destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Something finds you in those moments. And so I was like, yo, man, actually I need to change my perception, man, and try to find the positives in the things that I do and try to put the gifts and the talents, I guess, that I've been handed and given into action instead of trying to find the negatives of not doing it. So it was quite powerful. And today I think I started off on that note. You know, but I was still like, I'm very tired, but I think I was able to get through quite a bit.
Nah, that's proper.
You know,
That's proper.
we got some nice, what's that drink?
Which one?
The one we bought for it. What's it called?
What is it, well?
We're not gonna mention the brand.
Yeah. It was cool lime something.
Yeah, some fancy drink
lemon
to
and
go
whatnot.
with,
Yeah.
But otherwise, man, I've been good. Otherwise, and yeah, I'm ready for the episode.
Let's kick it.
I'm ready for the
Let's
episode.
kick
What we
it.
got
Let's
today?
kick it, man. Let's kick it. So we did touch up a bit on it, right? But I mean, I think for today, and I mean, it's also something that's been on my mind, but like not that much, right?
Okay.
About, I guess also like the way I would want to pose it, right, is one, after university, are you as Usipile and me as Usimpiwe living up to that image or that goal that the young you had? You know what I mean?
Okay.
But then also another one is then, are you and me living up to or even not even living up to our parents' expectations, but do we even want to live up to our parents' expectations? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then, I mean, if the answer is yes, I want to live up to my parents' expectations, then are you living up to them? If no, then are you living up to your own
expectations?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like your own expectations, you know? And I think also then it ties in nicely to, especially with life after university, you know, because I think when you're in high school or primary, it's quite hard to like, I know I'm just doing my own thing. I'm living up to my expectations, because also you just like don't know, like you don't know anything, you know? So you just wake up primary school, wake up high school.
Yeah.
It's like, rah, who cares?
You got a set schedule for everything.
Yeah. So like really no one cares who's like, I know I'm living up to my parents' expectations or whatnot. So I think it's that. So those are the boundaries, right? To say, okay, life after university, how's it been? So maybe that also for the viewers that are like, don't know where you've been and where I've been. So maybe that, right? So life after university, but then also, are you living up to your parents' expectations? Do you want to live up to your parents' expectations? If not, are you living up to your own expectations after university? You know? Yeah. So I'll start you then with, because I mean, don't think too much.
No, don't think. Yes, I have to reflect. I have to reflect a bit.
Don't think too much.
Yeah.
But now, like, that's the question, right? It's okay, cool. I guess the first one is, no, I mean, I think let me start it light, right? Let's start it light. How has life been after university? You know, I think also I'll jump in, but you finished before me.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have more years
under my belt. Experience.
Away.
Now, I mean, you know, parts of it, I think how it played out, you're familiar with. But I think if I were to package it, like, or like put it into one sentence, I would say it's been eye-opening.
Okay.
One. And then the second one, a big smack in the face.
Yeah, that's Josie for you.
Yeah, big smack in the face. And I mean, probably doesn't help that I had to, after university, I came straight to Joburg. Quite a busy city where everyone is like on hustle mode the whole time. I have shared, I think there was episode 9 where I was talking about not losing yourself, like an element of that role that Johannesburg, the town, played in who I am. But I think for me, man, biggest thing after university it's been a smack in the face, eye-opening. And I want to say this just to give a bit of context, because grew up in the Eastern Cape, right? Went to university, did my undergrad. I failed a year. Had to repeat a year there. That was the first moment of
slap in the face.
You know, going through. I mean, I don't know if I'm incriminating myself here, but I did 2 grades in 1 year.
Away.
Yeah, but in primary I did 2 grades in 1 year, grade 1 and grade 2. Because like Amchita he must go to grade 2, right? So I've always been around the idea of academic excellence and like just being the person who's not struggling, like basically academically, right? And then, you know, I dropped it grade 8, grade 9 intentionally because I wanted to be a cool kid. And then I decided now grade 10, I want to come back again and be serious. Finish high school, come to varsity, fail, repeat the year, get a smack in the face. And I'm like, I am not able to move on from this. But eventually I do come to Joburg. And bro, the first thing I realized was there is no timetable.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
There's no timetable set for you. No lectures at 8 o'clock.
Oh, this is now in university?
No, after university.
Oh, okay.
Right. No timetable for at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lecture at 4 o'clock. You know, what after work, you know, because now you start working. You clock in, you clock out. Whatever happens after you clock out is nothing to do with work. Now you must decide what you want to do with your time. There's no assignment, there's no test to study for. And so a lot of the responsibility falls, or for me, fell on my hands. Like, what do I do with all this time? Who am I? What do I like? Do I have any hobbies? for ComServe, it was still chilled. I didn't have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah,
Just paid
yeah.
rent, my dog. I had money. I mean, not a lot of cash, but
you were up there.
I was fine. I was
Yeah.
comfortable. I could buy what I wanted to buy when I wanted. I mean, there was a day I bought a PS. I woke up and decided I'm going to go buy a PS4. You know, so I was chilled in that regard. And then after responsibility started coming in, you know, the car came in, rent came in, insurance comes in, petrol comes in. And so there's a lot of things to then consider. And then the big decision after ComServe was, okay, now where to from now?
Yeah.
Because at that point, the next milestone is not set. University, you go to first year, second year, then you graduate.
Yeah.
When you start working, the milestones stop being
It's
determined
done,
for you.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no first year, second year that you like go through.
Now you must decide what you want to do for the
Sure,
rest of your life. And so that was a big smack in the face, my G. I mean, now I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
We've seen with the podcast, but yeah, it's a lot of falling in getting back
of
up.
Course.
From my side. Yeah, and your side?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like life after varsity or like, what's up?
It's this side.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, now you're good. Yeah.
So, for me, like life after university, I think it's been pretty chilled. You know, I think also quite the same as you, where I didn't have or like the like, because I mean, like, even like in high school, it's quite easy because then you know it's okay. Grade 8, grade 9, you know. So even if you don't have goals, your goal is just to get to the next grade.
Sure.
You know. So I think with life after uni for me, especially like the first year in again also in Jersey, you know, it's like, okay. I mean, I guess in
city.
Yeah, you know. But then there, I mean, I just came here. I think for me there it was a matter of just living and surviving the culture in Jersey as a whole, you know. And then it's last year where I was like, you know what, actually my goal is to just like maximize cash, you know, or like just maximize my income.
Sure.
You know, the bread, essentially just like getting the bread as crazy as we possibly can. So that was then my goal. Like every waking day I was like, how can I maximize cash, you know? And I think also then
this is last year.
Yeah, so this is last year. This is when I then like started applying like crazy.
Okay, sure.
You know, I think then, because I think also outside that, gym has always been something that also keeps me going. You know, because I think also the reason I like gym, it's nice because you can fall and then you can come back and set a goal. You fall, you come back, you set another goal. So gym is nice like that because you can there's always a goal that you can chase. You know what I mean? So I think that also has been something interesting for me and just like keeping me going. And then what else? Yeah, man, you know.
Can I ask, have you ever experienced the limbo, the
What
period
is
of limbo? You know, limbo.
What is that?
Limbo is basically when you don't know, like it's like you're in space, like you don't know where you go. Like it's how do you describe? It's like a vacuum. It's like a vacuum.
Okay.
You don't know. You can't see forward. You can't see back. You stuck in this place, man, where nothing is really making sense.
Yeah.
You feel like there's no sense of direction. Have you experienced that yet?
Nah, I don't think so.
Is it?
Nah.
Nah, it's it's tough, bro. It's tough. And I think it's something to. I'm not saying you don't experience it.
Yeah.
I hope you don't. But it's something that I think catches you. Like you're saying, having gym.
Yeah.
I thought about it now as you're saying, like having a gym helped you in that there was something to work towards, right?
Yeah,
There's always
yeah.
something to work towards. And the biggest thing I think after varsity is not having anything to work towards and having to determine every aspect of your life. So the limbo comes through when you don't have a foundation for anything, right?
Okay.
Something that I had to realize, I think, like in the last few years is you need to be in charge or put something for yourself that you're always working towards. It can be one thing, it can be a couple of things, right?
Yeah.
I'll use the podcast as an example.
Yeah.
So the podcast started last year, right? After the first episode, I look forward to the second episode.
Okay.
And I want to see how it's going to progress and get better. After the second episode to the third one.
Yeah.
And it's like a moving vehicle that I can look back and say in the last few months or the last few weeks, this is what I have done and built, right?
Sure.
Now I have 30 episodes in and where are we in terms of growth and your subscribers and the journey, how it's been.
Yeah.
Look back and reflect on. When you don't, I've found for myself at least, when you don't have a thing that you're working towards or something that you're building on, it can feel like you are just stuck in space.
Yeah.
Because like you saying, you had a financial goal to say, okay, I have a financial goal, either a savings goal or how much you need to be earning a month. And so all your effort was going towards, firstly,
Yeah.
the
Just
applications,
maximizing that.
job applications, or Espani, this is a strategy that you want to work towards. Echimini, this is something that you want to build on, and that keeps you going. But when you remove that element, which I have, weird, but I have, you say you want to take a break. And I found myself a couple of months, I'm like, what have I done in the last few months? I remember last year, I don't know if we ever spoke about this. Last year, no, was it last year or 2022? No, there was a period for a year. Bro, I think it was either 2021, 2022, or 2022 to 2023.
Yeah.
Where I looked back and I was like, what have I done in the last year? And I had nothing to show for it.
No, but then now my thing is like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Bad.
Why?
Because it's
because then, like, don't you think that idea of, it's the same thing for me. It's like, I don't really like hustle culture, because then the idea that they teach is you always have to be doing something. Like, what is it? New day, new dollar. There's that saying, man. Come on now.
Yeah.
Every day.
What does it say? Another day, another dollar. The sound is more. Yeah.
Another day, like, okay, sure, but then like another day, just rest.
But it doesn't have to be money. It doesn't have to be money based.
Okay.
It just has to be a thing of, people talk about hobbies.
Yeah.
We don't have hobbies.
Okay.
Right? Our generation, we don't have hobbies. My dog, if you chilling, you're on Instagram or you're on TikTok or you are on social media, right?
Yeah.
We don't have things that we're doing. Something as small as, I'll make an example, five-a-side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having five-a-side, a league has a league.
Yeah.
Having a five-a-side, being involved in a five-a-side tournament allows you to look forward to the next week.
Yeah.
When you don't have anything to look forward to, it's like I don't know how to describe it, like, but in my head it makes sense. Like, it's like you are staring, like, look outside, it's dark, ne? It's like you're staring into space.
Yeah.
And I wake up because the alarm will go off and I have to go to work. After that, it's just darkness again.
Yeah.
Because it's not even money. It's not about trying to make more money. It's like, okay, on Friday, I'm looking forward to going out with the boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Or on Saturday, I know good to have this and that. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
and having that thing to look forward to, I found to be quite helpful when you sit you sit alone and you think, what does my life even mean? And when I got to that place, I think last year or the year before, I was like, in the last year, what have I done? What have I learned? What skill have I developed?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. No, but then I'm thinking, right? Like, the thing that you look forward to, should it be an activity? Like, again, you made the example with the five-a-side. Should it be always an activity that's like, okay, either I'm going to be recording a podcast, or I'm going to be playing a five-a-side, or whatever? Or can it just be as simple as I'm meeting up with the homies and then we're chilling? Is there something like umuntu can look forward to and say, I know I'm just chilling with the homies? And because I think also, right, like, again, tying it back to this topic of today, life after university, and also the expectations, but mostly ties to life after university, where I mean, even in university, think about it, like, the only thing we were doing there is just studying. It's like we didn't do anything else. But I mean, here we are, we're still okay, we're still like alive and whatnot.
We did. There was a facilitated space for socializing. For example, if you weren't studying, you were at the dining hall with the homies, chowing for that time, having conversations, laughing it off, whatever. Or you in a jammy going to lectures, probably having chats with the boys. Then you come back. It was a lot more easier. Now you have to be a lot more intentional. So what you're saying is hanging out with the homies is an activity, something to look forward to. If I'm like, yo, me and Sim and Uzatembo or whoever, on Saturdays we hang out and we just chill, watch UFC. That's something to look forward to. And when you don't have that, it can feel very much like you are alone in space.
Yeah.
Where you can't see forward, you can't see backwards.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean we've gotten a lot better now because you know we hang a lot more.
Sure.
But
Sure.
there can be a time when you're like, because eventually what happens, we watch UFC, ne? Eventually we're like, dog, I heard about this place, the restaurant in what, let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Yo, no, I heard about what. You find out in the last year, we have visited a couple of places.
Yeah,
We have done ABC. Do you remember the other day when we were here, we spoke about going to play golf?
Yeah.
You know, it didn't happen, but
Yeah.
it was an idea that sparked in the moment simply because of that, of the
Hanging
space,
out, yeah.
of the opportunity. But I think now to bring it to that expectations conversation, and I think to myself, and you can bring it in as well. The life, I think for me, I'll speak for myself. Maybe the life that I expected as a kid,
Yeah.
or the idea that I had, definitely is not what I am living out. To be fair, you know, the life that I'm living is not what I imagined.
Young Usi there.
He's looking at me like,
Ekonge is like, this guy.
what is he doing?
What is he doing?
That was not the plan, my
Sure,
G.
sure,
That was
sure,
not the plan,
okay.
my G. Do you ever experience that? Or let me ask, what was your expectation of yourself when you were still
Yeah.
coming up?
Yo, man. I thought like, by 25,
Yeah.
I'll be, you know, nice whip, married and whatnot.
Married? That's
Yo,
wrong,
dog.
okay. Uh-huh.
You know? But I think also like it wasn't, for me, it wasn't like ever a thought that I had constantly.
Okay.
You know? So I think for me, just growing up in the rurals, right? I think it was like, man, I feel like my imagination was boxed.
Okay.
Growing up in the rurals, you know?
In what sense?
Where it's like the only thing you would do or the only thing you would see is Amachita chilling by the corner store,
Sure.
you know? And then be like, for me, I would go and fetch the cows, you know? And then,
When is this?
no, this was like high school, primary school.
Did you fetch the cows?
Hey, yo, man.
For real?
I was a young shepherd there. I was a young David, man, slinging to.
For real, dog?
Hey.
Okay.
not now, but
Yeah.
you know. So like, man, that was basically my life, where I'd come back from school, fetch the cows, come back, do homework, chow, sleep, wake up, go to school, come back, fetch the cows, chow, sleep. Then during holidays, you know, and then I would like just do whatever. But I also didn't play soccer. I didn't
Yeah.
chill by the corner store, you know. So that's basically what I did. You know what I mean?
So it was boxed.
Yeah. Where it's like growing up then, or like, back in the rurals, it's like your imagination was very limited, you know? So, I think when you ask the question, okay, cool, when you were still young, what did you look at, and like, or rather, what was your older self image?
Yourself, of yourself.
I didn't have any, man. You know, I was just like, okay, study, do medicine, and then get a job. But then in matric also, I didn't even apply for medicine. I just applied for like something else, you know?
So what brought that about?
What?
The like what you applied for, like engineering?
Yeah. So I think, so before even that, right? So there was one guy from my high school that went to UCT. Ne? I'm like, okay. Back then, I didn't even know that like there's other provinces and other universities out there, you know? I'm like, UCT, what is that? You know? Bruh, because I'm telling you, my G. I'm like, hey, man, UCT, okay, Cape Town, you know? So I started researching, right? Obviously, if you search Cape Town, bruh, you see positive things about Cape Town. You know, you see the mountain, you see people chilling by Sea Point or whatever. I'm like, hey, man, okay. And then, fortunately, my marks were proper. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to apply at UCT. You know? Apply at UCT. But then now my thing was like, hey, I don't want to do medicine. I just like didn't vibe with the medicine.
Sure.
You know, I just didn't vibe with it. So, but then I was also like, okay, I was good in maths. So I'm like, I might as well apply for.
Man, why big modest? You're excellent in maths.
What
This
do
made
you
big
mean?
modest. Tell the people. Tell the people.
Nah, dude, that was easy. That was easy maths, though. You know this high school maths stuff.
I was good in maths. This was excellent in maths.
You know?
Yeah.
So then I end up applying for applied maths.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, okay, good in maths, applied maths.
Makes sense.
Easy. And then the other one, and then I was like, oh no, umalume wami is a mechanical engineer. So that's how I got to know that there's an engineer.
Oh,
you know, or there's
yeah,
something
yeah.
as an engineer out there.
Sure.
And then that's when I started like researching about electrical engineering, you know, mechatronics, chemical. I'm like, okay, all of these things sound nice, you know. And I'm like, okay, electrical is boring. Everyone is an electrical engineer now.
Sure.
You know? I'm like, okay, Ankeli is a mechanical engineer. Okay, I also don't want to do that, you know, but it's a nice job. And then you have civil engineering, and then this other one. And then I ended up landing on chemical engineering. Even then, it was by chance, you know, but obviously, like, behind the scene, I'm sure it wasn't by chance, you know what I mean? But then I think ultimately went with chemical engineering, simply because I got a bursary for chemical engineering. So
sure.
even then, it wasn't like, I love chemical engineering.
Sure.
You know, it was just a matter of, I got a bursary for it, I might as well, you know. And then I think it was in varsity where I was like, okay, this thing is doable. Let's do with it. You know, then
Seems a bit interesting.
Yeah.
You only at the time. What is she whispering? Oh.
So I think for them it was like do medicine or do like actuarial science or something. But then still I'm like, okay, for actuarial science or anything BCom, because I didn't do a BCom business science and commerce and whatnot. So Vela was like already out.
Okay.
You know, because I didn't do those subjects in high school. So there it was like, okay, it is what it is. But then for medicine was an opportunity which I could get in. But then again, because it's like, medicine, I don't
Not your vibe.
Yeah, I don't vibe with it that much, you know. So I was like, I might as well do engineering.
Was there a lot of pressure from like because she wanted you to do medicine?
Yeah,
she
yeah.
would have hoped for you to do medicine or actually. Was there a lot of pressure, or was it just if like to advise you, I would advise you to do this or that?
Yeah. Dog, I don't even remember having a conversation about like that, you know what I mean? Like about careers and
I was actually thinking the same thing as you were saying, parents' expectations.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I actually don't. I
don't have
actually don't know. I actually don't know
Yeah.
what my mom's expectation was, like, just in terms of like career. I genuinely don't know because
That's crazy.
because I wanted to be a pilot, right?
Yeah.
In primary school. I don't know why. I just said I wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And then she was for that. She was like, cool, you be a pilot. And in grade 9, we had to interview someone to be. That is a profession that you want.
Yeah.
And I didn't know any pilots.
Mm.
So then during holidays, I interviewed my aunt's friend who was a doctor.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. She spoke about helping people. I'm like, I want to do this thing. I want to help people. I want to be a doctor, right? And that's when the interest to get into medicine started.
Yeah.
But I didn't really. Didn't apply. I applied to one place for medicine.
Yeah.
And I got bumped straight for everything. It was medicine.
Sure.
Medical engineering or something.
Yeah,
and
I
civil
see
engineering.
that,
Got rejected for everything,
Bam.
all three in that. Before my junior results.
Yeah.
So, and then, but like thinking back, I actually don't know. I don't know what my mom's expectation was. What I do know, it's not career expectation. Was more on the moral side.
Okay.
And then my mom was very focused on how she was raising us.
Yeah,
Very intentional about it. Her favorite saying was always, "Bumnanda pale."
Sure.
Wait until you are
old.
old and you can do this thing. So things like dating. She wasn't pro it at all during high school or during schooling years.
But then you did it regardless.
My man, I mean, I'm a teenager. I'm a teenager going through stages.
Sure.
In that regard, to be honest, it was very frustrating, Maji. I won't lie. It was frustrating because I'm like, you're not telling me why. You're just saying no, don't date.
Yeah.
But the Kellys,
are they?
I like the Kellys. The Kellys like me. What can I do? So I know she was very strong on that. You know, like just how to carry ourselves. Umntana bupheli. And then I remember there was a day earlier this year we were having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I came back late. I think I came from somewhere around 10, like at home.
Yeah.
She's like,
was this like recent?
Or? Yeah, this year.
Okay.
She's like, hey, and you feel like why are you traveling at night? I'm like, do you remember you said I can do anything when I have my own place and I get my own money? I do.
Sure.
So she was big on that, and I mean, to be honest, I would say she did a good job in terms of, how we've all come out, me and my siblings, But in terms of career, bro, like I genuinely don't know. I think she cared about that we're not gonna be out there, misbehaving and whatnot. Yeah. So it's strange when you were asking, do I feel like I lived up to expectations? I don't know. I don't know what she would have liked for me, but I know that even now, like, her thing is, as long as you guys are able to feed yourself, take care of yourselves, and I think in that regard, I did live up to expectation.
Yeah.
But there is a challenge.
Okay.
The challenge now is we having a conversation. I'm trying to break out of the traditional means of living, right?
Yeah.
Which is the 9-to-5 job and whatnot. Me, I want to do big things. When I want to be a podcaster,
Sure.
I want to venture into business and all the stuff that she doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And it's a big challenge because the moment we start the conversation, she shakes it up.
Okay.
I remember I said something. I'm like, Mama, I wanna do this. That is outside the traditional means. And she was like, yo, not in this economy.
But then now I'm thinking, right, like that. Okay, first, when did that thought come in?
Of what?
Of like you wanting to drop like the 9-to-5 and venture into like doing other things.
When I grew up wanting to be a rapper.
Nice. Yeah. Right. So now you see now it ties into a conversation we're having.
Yeah.
Uguti, your expectation growing up.
Yeah.
You wanted to be a rapper. Now it's tying it. That's what you see now. Because now I'm like, okay, you grew up wanting to be a rapper.
Sure.
And I mean, I think in an ideal situation where, say, for example, being a rapper paid, and you can do it 9-to-5, then you would have been a rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you were able to just go to university and study rapping or music, then you'd have been, and then get employed as a rapper.
But I don't think I would even applied for even if it was studied in university.
Yeah.
If it was a traditional means of income, then she would have allowed me.
Yeah.
That was never an option.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
But like, that were your expectations, which I guess if we compare like to like, you can say, okay, this was my expectation and this is where I am now, and you still have that bag that's like, do it.
Be a rapper.
No, not be a rapper, but like, I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
EP on the way.
We can put on a beat right now.
Put on a beat. Let's cook. Yeah.
But like, that what is it? That feeling or hunch of wanting to do your own thing and not doing 9-to-5. It's still there.
Oh yes.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm asking, do you then feel like you didn't live up to your expectations? Never mind your old lady and whatnot,
Nah, I didn't, bro. I didn't. And now it's getting sad.
My dog.
It's getting sad, bro. It's got dark very quickly. And it's funny, I was watching the episode we uploaded about authenticity. The energy is so up, we're laughing and stuff. Now I'm like, damn, we're having sad chats.
Deep conversation.
I didn't, bro, to be honest. I didn't. I was watching a video of myself. There's a video I recorded, I think 2020.
Okay.
During lockdown, rapping to a beat. A friend of mine was playing it back to me. And Utigum, yo, can you see the video? Like, what happened to this version of ourselves, the ones that are full of life, you know, the one that that had big dreams and knew no limits.
Yeah.
You know, and it's it's crazy, bro. You know,
Sure,
like, and when I say things like I wanted to be a rapper, at the time I really believed I could be a rapper.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I pushed. I made a mixtape the first year that I started rapping. I was working on a second one. You know, I was part of forming a record label in my small town, and I had big dreams and visions for it. And then I got to university where I felt I had to put it in the bag. Who's the Tembelo? There's gonna be interrupting. It's fine.
There's no one.
I heard something.
Is it?
Yeah, it's fine. Where I felt like I had to put it in the back seat, and from there it was you know, slowly it was
just like on a decline.
Yeah, on a decline. Then I started working, and I was like, hey, it's up again. You know, got the studio. I'm like, I'm gonna record every day. And then something, reality. I don't know if it's reality or whatever. You know, Kanye speaks about this, about kids also.
Yeah.
If you know the video, where he speaks about kids, that kids are all from the time that they're young, they're taught to behave, right?
Yeah.
And be as normal as they possibly can. When a kid gets on top of a table and they believe they're Superman, the first thing they say is, no, get down. You're not Superman. Don't jump, you know? And I think that's the sad thing about, I think, growing up, is that you get faced with so much reality.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that reality is subjective.
Yes.
We create our own reality, but get punched in the face by reality that you move away from the things that you would have imagined for yourself. So the version of me that was younger thought that I could do it. And perhaps the inner kid is probably crying, saying, dog, keep on going. Like, try to do it again, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're going to go deep, I think from a psychological element, you know, they always speak about us feeding that inner child and taking care of it.
Yeah.
And I think the moments where I feel really down are the moments when I move further and further away from the thing that he would have wanted for me. So when I feel like when I'm not doing, like, podcasting, for example, or recording music, when I'm like further away from it, I feel it. I'm like, I feel heavy. Like, I feel like there's something
like
that I should be doing. Yeah, that I'm not feeling.
Yeah.
So I haven't, bro. I haven't. Do you have things? Do you have some inner child, like things that you wanted to? Because you said you were boxed.
Yeah.
But beyond fetching the cows and stuff, like,
I didn't have anything.
Is
man.
it?
I can't relate. Yeah.
Varsity?
I'm trying to think, right? I feel like, dog, for me, I think for me, man, what's been happening? Like growing up, dog, I didn't have like a thing of to say, this is what I wanted to be.
Varsity?
I think even then, like the only memory I have, or like something I remember, was me saying, I just want to be a scientist. You know? And like now, I'm realizing now that like my previous role, I was a data scientist.
Yeah.
You know? And like it dawned on me like years back. I'm like, hey, wait up. I'm actually a data scientist.
Yeah.
You know? So, but then I think I just wanted to be in the space of science. What I was doing there, I think for me didn't matter much. And I think also that's why I was able to, like, from doing chemical engineering, I wasn't really stuck in now wanting to be an engineer. But then I found it quite easy to just leave that
transition out.
Being an engineer to now being a data scientist, because I didn't have that goal of, I think it's the same thing with, if maybe one of the homies was here, was going to testify, right? The thing of people wanting to be CAs, you know? And the thing is, like, there's no other way about it. Like, if you grow up wanting to be CA, you have to be there's no in between, you know. But I think for me it was like very broad. I don't know if it was like a mechanism of some sort, maybe a coping mechanism.
Sure.
Where for me, I grew up wanting to be a scientist, and realized now I'm like, actually I'm a data scientist.
I am a scientist.
I am a scientist.
I am a scientist.
So I think from that, I think for me, I'm not gonna say I didn't live up to my expectations. I feel like I fully represented the young kid. that was there.
Do you find that you are a lot more at peace?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I think going back right to the topic of life after varsity, ne, I think when you leave varsity, you have like the money, the apartment, the car, the time. Because I mean, some of us are like just working, a few hours. I'm not gonna say how many hours.
It's 2 hours a day. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say which doctor it is. It was a Jewish doctor.
Let's go. Yeah.
So you find yourself with all of that.
Yeah.
And I think I also posted like this other verse yesterday about King Solomon. And just like how obsessed he was with women.
Sure.
Obsessed,
yeah.
With women. And I think that is every guy's downfall. Where I felt for me, the many girls that I talked to, the less peace I had. And so, and like the past few years, I've just been practicing not talking to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, someone might think, but then the thing is easy, though. The thing is easy. But I mean, it's like, it goes back to the thing you were saying with idle hands and idle lips. That like you end up finding yourself like, hey, what am I doing here again? Because you actually went doing anything, so much so that you now just find yourself back to
the same
that. So I want to say like right now I'm at peace, dog. Like right now I feel like job wise it's going great. Family wise, relationship, just like everything, my G. Just like everything is proper. It's nice. I'm at peace. Yeah.
Can I tell you something I admire about you, my dog?
Are we? Talk to me.
Tell me now.
Sure.
The one thing I admire, the thing about you is, like you're saying, you like from the time that you started working, doing the graduate stuff, and the transition, I've had the privilege to like just watch, and observe, and it's been beautiful to watch in that you've handled quite a lot of the changes and transitions quite gracefully. And like I'll see, okay, there's a jump that's gonna take place now, and I watch, I'm like, okay, I wanna see, and then you handle it quite gracefully, like, okay, where to from now? Like you're saying, last year you got to a point where you're like, okay, now I need to get more money. What can I do? And instead of sitting in that place and feeling sorry for yourself, saying, hey, okay, I'm stuck, you're like, okay, what can I do? Where can I move? And you moved at the right time to say, now I need to do this in order to get to the next step or stage in my life. And that's like, I think the like navigating life in that manner is or might be the key things that you need, coupled with the peace that you say you experience. And then to ask, when you were like, there was a lot of chaos and a lot of movement around, like just talking to girls and whatnot. Is that linked to anything, or was it just a matter of I have time and I have access to resources? So
yeah, dog, I feel like it was just an access to resources. Where it's like, okay, I mean, like, because I think you think about it, right? Okay. And I think for us, actually, I mean, for me, it's first time being outside of home, it's university. But even then, it's a bubble.
Sure.
You have restrictions. You can't sign in people at this time. You need to sign out people at this time.
Sure.
You can't do that and that and that.
Why are you signing people in?
Hey, yo, for studying, dog.
Yeah.
I need to take them to the library.
I get you. Even though they could sign themselves in. But yeah, talk your talk.
So, but then now, and I feel like You know, I just want to say this. From university to working, it is a big jump. You know, it is a big jump. And I feel like we have so many homies of ours that are chilling in the rurals, looking for jobs and whatnot. And then that thing ends up eating you. And then you end up feeling like, you know what, why am I even looking for a job? Why am I even, excuse me. And then you just end up being part of the people that I was talking about, stay chill by the corner store.
Yeah.
You know, and then it just becomes a repetitive cycle or generational thing that goes on. And the reason I'm bringing that up, I think it's a thing of a support system where the homies that you be chilling with, right? You always want to say, okay, cool. This is where I'm at and this is where I want to go, you know? So same thing with how I did high school to UCT. It was like me coming to Josie. I was like, okay, there's Usi there. Uprex knows the area. You know what I mean? So then again, it wasn't like I'm just going into
the
deep end where it's I don't know anything. You know, so I knew it's okay. At least I have homies around that I can always bounce back to and whatnot. You know, so shout out to your support system for that. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so I think it was just the thing of my resources being available, and also I think also tying in nicely to some of the episodes we did about online dating. You know, where it's like it's so easy to meet people, whether it's on IG, Twitter, the socials, like it's the socials, dog. You know, like it's so easy to meet people. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then you just end up, you find yourself meeting or not, talking to so many people, which obviously ends up lead to meeting those people. So I think for me it was that with okay. I mean, and also the fact that you're actually in Gauteng. Because I've realized like how when I'm at home, back home in Ladysmith in the rurals, so chilled, you know, not wasting petrol, not buying McDonald's for myself and the homies. No one else.
So,
you know, like it's so chilled. But then the moment you this side, it's like here, there's so many people. You know?
Can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? And it's an interesting the contrast. Or what are those words? Paradox. I don't know what it is. those fits in contrast or whatever. It's interesting because I think I want to touch on the stuff when you say you had access to resources, right? And you're like, okay, if I'm in Joburg, there's pressure to drive around, go to Midrand, go to what, or you're like, I should be somewhere talking to someone and that's what they mean when they say Joburg is fast. Like they say it's a fast life, you know. You just wanna be on the move all the time because people are literally on the move all the time. You go on the road, there's traffic, and you say, okay, when you hear, you're like, okay, you want to get with the pace, right? Blah, blah, blah. But when you're back home, you're like, it's chill, just nice, chill, it's whatever. Do you know what I experience when I go back home? Frustration. and
what?
Because I think it also links to, it's important for, I think, especially after varsity, to understand where you draw peace from. Right? This is going to sound wild, but it's important to identify a place where you draw peace from because two people can draw peace or get peace from two separate, completely different things, right? You get peace from, like you're saying, you wanted to be a scientist. You are now a scientist. You've got your job. It's going well. Family is going well. You know, relationships are going well, and you're good. Like for you now it's about career growth, and that's what your life kind of looks like or what you envision for yourself. I'm on the other side, and I'm fighting against almost that life.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't.
Wait, what do you mean by that life? Just expand it up.
Like you say, for example, now, like with this span. I feel closed off, like closed in.
Okay.
When I think about it, for example, say the next 5 years, I don't really think about career progression in that regard. I'm thinking in the next 5 years where the podcast is going to look, where this business is going to look, what I'll be doing as a physiotherapist, how I can expand as a physio, what businesses are gonna be, what will I be able to build the rehab center that I want to build.
Sure.
And that's how I'm thinking about. So when I go back home, that slowness frustrates me because
eats you up,
I'm like, this is way too slow. Like, this is way too slow, right? Like, this is way too slow. And I don't actually get peace from that because I want to be in a space where things are moving. Like, it helps. And I like the fact that, for example, we can sit and have a conversation now where, sorry, not to cut, because I have this thing of not finishing my points. I have a problem. I said I'm not good at small talk.
Yeah.
The reason I'm not good at small talk is because I don't know where it's going. I don't understand where it's going. I'm like, yo, dog, how's your day? Nah, it was good. Okay, the sun is hot there. Hey, today I don't know how to do it. For me, I want to talk about, dog, what do you think about the distance between the sun and the earth? And then I learn something from the conversation. So the fact that we are able to have conversations where it opens up your mind and you get to learn something more, get a different perspective. I get excited from that, you know. That's how my mind is working. When I'm stuck and when I'm sitting not doing anything, I'm itching. You know, and I'm like, I should be doing something. I don't find peace in sitting and being calm, and it might be a problem, but I don't find peace at all. You know, if I go back home, I want to go back to Joburg. You know, when I'm in Joburg, I can't be sitting because then all the cars are moving so quickly. I need to moving at the same pace or even quicker than they are. And so it's quite interesting how similar we are, but also different.
I just want to say, I love small talk. I love small talk, dog. Because, like, what can I say, man? I think that's why I enjoy, like, meeting people. You know, I enjoy meeting people, even though it's like, I know for a fact that there's nothing that's gonna come out of this. We're not gonna have a deep conversation or a meaningful conversation. Let's just have small talk. And after that, I forget about you. We go about our ways.
You move on.
We move on. You know what I mean? So I think that's where we also like quite different.
No. It's definitely true, man. And I think it's exposed. Being out of university has exposed me a lot in that regard. Like getting into new spaces. For example, I started going to church 2 years ago, right? And getting into that new space with new people, new faces, new personalities that are in your personal space. I'm like, I don't know how to navigate this. And I mean, I'm too old, my man, to be thinking like that, right? But I'm like, I don't know how to navigate it because you don't want to come off too strong to people who don't know you. But at the same time, you don't want to be standoffish, you know. And I was told recently, like, hey, dude, I don't know what I said about being social, right? They're like, who, you? Being social? Nah, I can't be you. And I mean, I didn't take offense, but I'm like, it's maybe it's sad to be that guy who is unable to be social at such a big age, you know? And I think something that I've also just learned in this life now, where you get to decide what you have to do and which spaces you find yourselves in, is you need to define different areas of your life and you need to be proactive in defining them.
Okay.
So you need to be proactive in, for example, career progression. Like, in the next 5 years, this is how I want to grow.
You need to be intentional.
Exactly. And also in the social side, you're saying you like meeting new people. Are you meeting new people just to satisfy the need to talk to individuals, or are you meeting new people to make new friends? And people always say, come and making new friends in my old age. I don't fully agree. You can meet someone in your 30s, bro, and
you make friends.
And make a very deep connection, right? But you have to be intentional about it. I came here, I was chilled. I didn't know anyone when I got here. My sister was here, right? But none of the boys were here. You know, y'all came through after. And I was like, okay, I'm hanging out with the G's.
Homies are here now.
Exactly. I'm going to hang out with the G's. You know, we know each other. It's comfortable in a way. And I don't have to put in a lot of effort. Now being at church, it's taken me out of my comfort zone.
Because now it forces you to like interact
100%
with people at church.
Exactly. And you have to explore whether connection can be deep or not. And if it is deep, it's like, okay, is it supposed to be deep maybe it's supposed, you know, it's just, and those things can work your mind, because if you close yourself off to those opportunities, then you may be denying yourself progression in terms of that sphere.
The social
100%. And so I found like I have to be quite intentional with all of them. But what is my point?
What was your point again? I forgot. Because I'm like, okay, let him cook.
What does it say?
I'm like, let him cook.
What does it say? I think I just started off by just like highlighting just the contrast that we can both find two things at the same time. So I think to bring it back, I think to the expectation, to the parents' expectations and our own expectation, you know, I'm glad you brought up our expectation, because if we're going to do parents, we're just going to be like, I don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So let's move on, you know. But it's one thing that I can say to myself or to anyone who is coming out of university, I think coming into the workspace, is be ready for a massive transition. Be ready for a lot of confusion.
Okay.
A lot of confusion and a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
You don't know what the next day brings. You don't know if you are going to get a job or not. You might have the degree, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are going to be compatible in the workspace.
Yeah.
We've been privileged, and I think it's moments, there's small moments that you really just remember that I'm actually privileged.
Yeah.
Straight out of university, I was able to get a job. Yesterday at church, we were discussing something about the unemployment rate amongst women in South Africa, black women in South Africa.
Yeah.
They were saying it's more than 50%. The unemployment rate, you know?
Yeah.
And when you hear those numbers, you really think to yourself, this is insane.
Yeah.
You know, when people talk about the middle class and they start naming, you know, salaries, you're like,
hey, what do you mean?
And then they talk about the percentage of the people below, you know, middle class, you're like, that is
lot
insane.
Of people,
you know, we automatically fall amongst the minority in the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are really moments to say, I am actually privileged. You know, and if you don't take time to realize it, you might take things for granted, you know. But
okay,
I think to bring it to that expectation thing again, which we all did, the very same things that might also present themselves as blessings might be the same thing that jail you and imprison you.
Yeah, meaning?
I'm blessed. I don't want to sound like a sport
Sure.
I understand. I got out of university. I got a span,
got a job,
got a permanent span, and I've gotten a car, a place to stay. Right?
Yeah.
I'm blessed in that regard. At the same time, like I said, to my frustration again, I feel like there's more that I need to be doing.
Okay.
And
do you feel like you're not meeting your expectations, right?
No.
Okay.
I'm not, man. I'm not. And I'm taking accountability. No, it's no one to blame.
Yeah. Okay, but now I'm saying, are you working towards meeting those expectations?
Yeah, I'm trying. We here.
Facts.
We here.
Facts. Let's cook.
I'm trying, bro. I'm
Okay.
trying. I'm trying. And I mean, the intentional part of it, I think, is what caught me. What was that? What is that? Sorry. Is this corner?
Yeah. I was too young,
yes. So I'm saying, you'll see the replay. But what was I saying? You have to be intentional about it. And so when people say no one is coming to save you, I think we're not trying to be tough or be mean to people, but no one is coming to save you for real. And if you don't put in the effort to try and achieve this goal that you want to do on the side, no one is going to push you to do it. Yeah. I understand. So this is part of those efforts, man, in just trying to be active and proactive in achieving them. And I'm working towards it, but I do think it took quite a long way for me to do wake up. And perhaps to your point again, the one we chatted about, there was a guy, Scalar, that went to university, which made you there. I think we need to also move towards spaces where we create those opportunities for the people coming out after us. Like, I know the environment back home, people don't have access to such opportunities or information. Maybe now they do because of social media, but majority of people still don't. You know, they don't know what happens before or during university and after university. And I think we then have a responsibility to be those people. I do think to some extent, I was thinking yesterday, I do think that God is putting me through these difficulties because why not me?
Okay.
Because if it was easy, then I wouldn't be able to have a conversation with someone to help them not go through the same thing.
Fact.
Know? perhaps I am the chosen soldier. You know, you are the soldier, and people say,
Yeah.
God, I don't want you to trust me with
don't
your
want
big
you-
battles.
sure.
You know, but you know, from a religious point of view, I think God really does put us through things just so that we can help the next person.
Yeah.
And so at times where I do get frustrated, that also does bring about a bit of comfort to say,
Mm.
you know, but we can do somewhere that I'll be able to assist and say, hey boys, this is how it works. And
Yeah.
when I do have kids of my own, which I hope I will,
Hey.
we can then sit them down and say, this is what I experienced. In
Yeah.
high school, I wanted to be a rapper. And when you want to be a rapper, this is how you do it
How
right.
you go about it,
You know what I'm saying? Our parents, unfortunately, didn't have that access.
Yeah.
My mom, to this day, watches shows about Samro. You know, she was watching a show about SABC1 about rappers getting scammed. She's like, yeah, can you hear? They are still getting scammed. It's
To this day.
Don't get
To
scammed, you
this
know, because she doesn't have the proper information, you know, and so I think we have the responsibility then to
Yeah.
do it. You have the responsibility to go back.
Yeah.
Ladies Meads, Indwana there as landing Gomo. You have insight and you have perspective and you have, you know, the experience. You know what it's like to be in a space where you are existing in a box where you can't imagine any
Yeah.
life aside from the
Yeah.
one that you have now. And then it's you then who's going to help them open up that box and navigate it a bit better.
No, I get you. I feel like I'm of a different
Damn.
understanding, man, you know?
Let me
Or
hear
like,
It's like, I hear what you
I hear
say.
you, but hey, yo, scrap all of that.
Yeah. Let me hear.
Like, because now it's also like Messiah complex. You know? Is it Messiah complex? Let me confirm it with you, man.
Is it similar to survivor's guilt, where you feel like you have to go? Oh, no, survivor's guilt is different. Never mind. It's Messiah comment like having to save everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, where yes, savior
complex, yeah.
Every man believes they are destined to save others or have an exaggerated sense of their own ability to do so. Yes, right.
I mean, help.
Of course. You see now.
Because mine is to help people.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Good luck. I feel like I don't feel like that.
Is it?
I don't, dog.
What do you feel like?
Bruh. I feel like, I mean, like it's not nice to say, but I feel like everyone must, you know, get through their own thing, dog, and like let life be, you know, legit. But like also, I feel because my thing is now we like going onto a tangent, but like my thinking is you have my thinking is like, one, if things are destined to happen, they're going to happen, right? I partly believe that, but I also partly believe that we have a free will to shape our own destinies. So I'm in two camps. Excuse me. I'm in two camps. One being that we shape our own destiny, but the other one being that destiny is already set out. Like our lives are already like set out.
Sure.
You know? And I feel like whatever we do, because then like my thing is, assume you go back to the rurals, you go and like teach those Ntwanas and be like, hey, yo, listen, boys, this is how you do the things, do that, don't do this, you know, do that. I feel like their point of view, they might look at you and be like, I'm never getting there. Like you can come in, what do they say? Best interest in heart. Is that how they say it?
You have my best interest at heart. Yeah.
You see that? You see, yo, bro, rural English dog out here.
I could be wrong as well, but yeah.
It's best interest at heart, right? I have your best interest at heart. Oh wait, right? So you might pull. That's what I'm saying. You might pull up. That's why I don't like going to high schools and talking. Like I always avoid those things, man. Or like even just talking to the young kids wherever. I always avoid them because my thing is like, I'm chilling out there with a mic in my hand and whatnot. When they look at me, because I know I was in their shoes, and my principal in my high school used to come with like people from varsity and be like, no, talk to, you know what I mean? And when I was still in grade 11, grade 10, I used to look at those guys. I'm like, I'm never gonna be like those guys. But now you see what that's happening. What that is doing is it's like, it's just pushing me. What is it?
Pushing it
like down even more.
Can I challenge you on that?
Yeah.
You are on a podcast.
Sure.
Right? Where it's aim, I guess, is just like, I think what Miles mentioned then is like just the betterment of self and others through conversations, right? Like you want to start the conversations and have healthier ways of coping and managing or navigating through life. That is a way of talking to the kids in high school.
I guess
Except it's for other people that are not in high school, and maybe it's because you don't see them directly, but at some point it's going to get to a point whereby now they come to you off air and they want to have a conversation to you about, can you please take me through how you were able to get through life after? So isn't that the same thing, just in a different context?
I guess so. I think also, I remember I went to church, right? Like I told you my thing, I've been like church hopping, like just like experimenting with different churches and whatnot, right? And then every time I go there, I'm a new joiner, right? This Joburg church is like, new joiners.
Stand up.
Dark, I hate that.
Stand up. New fella in the cars.
Yo.
Hands up. Yeah.
Okay, bet, you know, I raise my hand or I stand up and then, okay, cool, go to this room, or, you know, okay, cool. But now the thing is, like, every time I'll be there, like the pastors or whoever be talking, you know, and then this other one, I liked how he talked, and he was like, listen, and then he was talking to me, right? Like, it was a one-on-one thing. When we talking. I'm just looking at him. I'm like, dog, you can say whatever. I'm not going to change my mind.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then he was saying to me, like, listen, there's actually, because he went to university to study being a pastor.
Sure.
And he was saying part of the psychology that they get taught is there's different personality types of people. Excuse me. And then there's multiple people, but the one he told me about were like two, where other people, when you tell them Jesus is coming, repent and be a Christian, for them that's enough.
Yeah.
They're like, listen,
let's go.
I'm done. I'm changing my life.
Yeah.
You know? But like for me, you can tell me that, I'm like, I'm still gonna continue doing my own thing. Because then it takes more than just like fear, but not fear, but like that wishy-washy, you know, sorry, I mean, that's not the term even I want to use, but like Jesus Christ, you know, but
the unclear.
Yes, you know, where it's like, no, like if you say to other people, Jesus Christ is coming, turn back and be a Christian, some people are like, I bet we're doing it.
So you're a bit skeptical, you have your skepticism.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's the same thing where, I guess for people watching, even for myself, I think this is then a learning moment for me, that like when I'm talking to the lighties back in the rurals, you know, it's a thing of like, how do I talk to them? You know, because then other people might be like for other kids in schools, for them to actually start studying and focusing on whatever they're doing, it's an easy thing to just say, you want to be a doctor? Study hard. For some, it's like, okay, bet. Let's go. But for other kids, they're like, you know, like, that's all. Just study hard. You know? So for them, it actually takes more convincing to even get to like, oh, actually, this guy, I need to actually study hard.
Yeah.
So I think I'm also like that, where other people, you can easily just say, I know this, that. Then you're like, okay, cool, let's go.
No. I get what you're saying. Saying. And look, it's true. Like, different people receive different things, in different forms and in different ways. For you, when the pastor was saying, "Yo, Jesus is coming, repent," you're like, "No talk." Cap. You know, tell me more. I need to hear more of this. You know,
sure.
And it's funny because yesterday at the church thing, they were talking about skepticism. Like, it's important to be a skeptical person.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're not skeptical, you will get taken advantage of in every sphere. So, and I think with that thing, the savior complex, perhaps there is an element of having the savior complex and going back and trying to save the people. Maybe there's a savior complex in this platform because we're trying to help people, navigate life a bit better. But I really do think, like with what you're saying, perhaps it's a matter of finding a way that you can effectively communicate with those different individuals.
Yeah.
Maybe for you, it won't be standing in front of the school and saying, hey, like this, study hard and you'll be a chemical engineer and you get into FNP, but perhaps presenting practical ways of, okay, Njonga, listen, I was here, right? And from here, this is what I have. Because we gatekeep a lot of the steps to get to certain things.
Facts.
If we're having, for example, a podcast about financial literacy, saying it's important to have financial literacy and save 30% of your salary and do whatever is not enough. Let's talk numbers.
Yeah.
Someone who's earning 10,000 Rand, how do they save 3,000 Rand?
Exactly.
And what does it mean for their lifestyle? What kind of lifestyle do they have to live? I was having a conversation earlier this week about that. Perhaps we can touch on it in a different topic about finances, right? That in the last 5 years ago, life as a physio, comfortable life as a physio is different from what it looks like now.
Now, sure.
Right? Because the economy has drastically changed. So the people coming in might look at me and say, this guy is driving this car, this guy is living in this place. I'm also a physio, so let me try and live like him. Not knowing that when I got in,
it was different.
I could probably do that. But now, where I am, maybe that's not sustainable anymore. Find that maybe I need to let go of the car, I need to let go of the place to stay, I need to let go of the lifestyle that I'm living. And we just don't have those honest conversations anymore. We gatekeep our salary, our page, pay slips. Amongst colleagues, dog, I don't want to see. Amongst friends, dog, you mustn't know how much I'm getting paid. And I'm like, okay, I understand. It's a figure, right? It's privacy, but if you're gonna be giving someone advice on financial literacy, break down how it's done. Not you need to save, and if you can't save, then you're irresponsible. How is it done? What are you struggling with? We don't have a good relationship with money because we don't know money. Perhaps the kids don't understand the importance of education. There's someone on social media right now, bet you if you can go on Instagram or Twitter, someone saying education is not important. Someone saying Casper is a millionaire, multimillionaire with only a grade 10. How do you even compete with that? Making them understand that this is how it moves. And for Casper, I think, to go in and say, this is a place, I'm at a place in my life where I realize A, B, C, and D, I could do it. But how many of me are there? Not a lot.
He's an outlier, right?
Do you get what I'm saying? But they don't know that. I wanted to be a rapper. I saw them. These guys are driving fancy cars and I could write music and whatnot. I want to be like them. Those people are outliers. If there's 50 rappers, 50 out of how many? 7 billion. It's crazy numbers. So I think that, I'm not saying I have because the savior complex is also frustrating when you try to do something good and it's not received the way that you would think. So it can be quite consuming. But I think there's opportunities, man, and it's worth trying or worth giving back to and creating those platforms and making it easier for the people coming after us and even the people in the same stage as us. Because another thing we don't do is have open conversations about real struggles that we are experiencing. We could be here drowning. I don't know how we got to this because we're talking about expectations, but anyway.
No, but like it ties in nicely to everything, right? Because I was thinking about it, like bringing it back to like everything, right? Uguti, when even like you said with our peers, even people back home in the rurals, in the high school and wherever, varsity, it's like we need to have open conversations about expectations, because I think the chat up today is one, life after university, and then two, we're talking about expectations. One, did you meet your parents' expectations? Did you have did your parent have those expectations for you? If no, did you meet your own
expectations?
Right. But I think also another one that we might have maybe added is our expectations that our peers and our friends have of us and that we have of them. You know what I mean? Because then, like someone else might look at me and be like, hey, yo, this guy is working at a bank, you know? And then this is what you then expect of them, you know, without having that honest conversation about them. Or you find some of our peers they go to the UK, to work there and whatnot, and then you're like, but then he's driving a Picanto.
Doesn't make sense. No hate on the Picanto.
Hey, that's a great car, man. Get that Picanto, people. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because it's like, what expectations? Same thing with like, as a majita. As a majita, what expectations do we have? You might find that like, people are expecting, let's say me, I'm like, Faith, you've been with your girl for however many years. I'm expecting you to be married by now.
Sure.
But I don't know the reality that you and your girl and you and everyone else are like going through, So I think it's also that, I think it ties in nicely to the whole conversation. It's okay, in as much as we're talking about expectations from our parents and ourselves, there's also expectations from our friends, peers, colleagues, and all those other people.
And Elo used to tell us about peer pressure. And I think actually
exactly
in high school it might have just been small. I think we think it disappears after high school.
Yeah.
It probably is
Elo was
the worst.
Elo was cooking.
It probably is the worst after university. When you start working.
Ties in nicely now.
Peer pressure is probably the worst because the expectations are so insane.
Ties in nicely now. We might as well title this like peer
pressure. Peer pressure from
peer, because like you said, right? We like back in high school when they were teaching us the LO, peer pressure, and also I think it's just a thing of the examples they use back in high school. It's like I'm not gonna fall for this. What is peer pressure?
100%.
But by the time you finish university. You look at things like, hey, I failed a year or whatever. My people, or like, no, forget that, right? The people that you graduated with, you start measuring. That's how you measure your success with those people. You know what I mean? But then you forget where are all these other people coming from. Right? Because of course, if someone is coming from a proper family with a mom and dad and cash, they're gonna buy them their first car. You're not gonna buy yourself a first car,
bro. This sounds like it's about to be another episode, but I'm just getting hyped because
sure.
you're really touching on something that is quite crucial. You know, and the examples they use, then it was like, for example, don't do drugs. Whatever.
Like,
why would I do drugs?
I'm not gonna do drugs.
Like you look around, like why would someone fall for that?
Yeah.
But I think it's the context that we didn't have.
Facts.
And other people succumbed in high school. Other people succumbed in university. Other people succumbed in the workspace because they're not ready or equipped to even know what is yet to come. And you're right. I think the peer pressure we're experiencing is quite a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that people look at you and say, "Oh, you're in health. You're a doctor. You should be living like this."
Yeah.
You're like, okay, maybe I should buy what. Okay, I should.
Exactly.
I can't be staying in what because what are people gonna say about Bandubazotini syndrome? And there's a lot that might actually be the one thing that we are struggling with the most. The social media now, peer pressure. You hear someone your age and you say, what are they doing? What are they driving?
I think with the social media one, right? I feel like that one is also the like type of the high school one, where it's like you're like, I'm not gonna fall for this, because like, I mean, if you see someone on social media, if you see someone on social media your age driving a Lamborghini, okay, that's cool.
That's true.
But then the moment you see me driving a Lamborghini,
it's like, ish.
And then
and even when you were saying the people you graduate with, you start to measure your success based on them. That's a big one.
Exactly, because you start seeing on LinkedIn, right? Like, hey, yo,
LinkedIn.
She's getting married. She drives a GLE. She stays in Santon paying 13K rent. Where's she working, dog?
We were in the same class, learning the same things.
Bruh, I was teaching her tutorials.
I taught you chemistry.
Bruh.
I taught you chemistry.
I had to share my chemistry tats with you. So I think that's where I think the definition of peer pressure has to change a bit, because I think your peers, who are actually your peers are not the people on the same age as you.
It's your peers.
It's like me and you.
Yeah.
We're not at the same age, but I'm your peer.
Yeah.
I'm here.
That's
You know?
true.
So I think that's
true.
where also that, right? That's what I'm adding to the conversation for today, to say I think that's where expectations, and like you said, that's where they kill us the most. You know, because now, like you say, if I'm all of a sudden pulling up, driving a Beamer 2 Series, you know, convertible, you're like, hey, yo. And then now what do? You go there, you take out a car loan, you take out a credit card, you're now starting, you want to buy a Beamer also. You check there on Auto Trader or cars, you're like, hey, yo, this guy's in the 300s, in the 400s, second hand. You're like, no way.
And now, now you're introducing something.
Yeah.
Now when you talk about like even that, like say now as my peer, right? You pull up with this lifestyle, and then I now I get brought into your circle of people, and say it's people that exist with in a similar lifestyle. Yeah. Then what happens to me? I'm like, damn, because they're gonna start asking, "Hey, but dog, you hang out with this Simpia? Simpia is pulling up in Beamers.
What's happening?
And he's moved now to a mess. Now he's moved to a thought. Well, now you've been in the same place for a while.
See what I mean?
And even if people aren't speaking subconsciously and internally, you can be like, I'm not moving.
Yeah,
my dog.
So I think that's the thing. That's the conversation, man, for today. I think if we take out anything from this conversation or from anyone watching, right, is like your peers. You know, it's not the people around your same age or whatnot.
On Instagram or whatever.
Nah, bruh.
It's the people next to you.
It's the people next to you.
And perhaps it is quite, it's most important to be conscious, firstly, of the people around you.
Yeah.
And at all times, because of that vacuum and that limbo I spoke about, it's important to always understand, which is why, going back to that now, that's why it's most important to kind of have a plan for yourself.
Yeah.
And understand that this is my journey.
Yes.
This is my journey. I have to walk it the way that I can only walk it.
Yeah.
Not the way that a Simpio walks it.
Facts.
Because sometimes we really aspire for the things that our peers are doing, not understanding the depth of it, because we're not having this honest conversation to say, my dog, I live in Santin, but I am struggling.
Facts.
I am, neck deep into debt, but I have to maintain this lifestyle. Oh my G. I'm driving the certain car, and it might look, I'm getting all these ladies out there, and it might look like I'm succeeding, or make it look cool. Yeah. But in reality, I am actually feeling very empty. Yeah. And I think, it's nice how it's somehow came together, because in the things that we mentioned, it really is important, I think, to understand that once you're out, the peer pressure is not, don't do drugs. It's a matter of, I'm moving now. Subconsciously, I'm comparing myself with the people around me, the people that I graduated with, or the people that I hang around with. Yeah. And ultimately, that can deter you from what you actually want to do. And if you don't have your own frame of how I want to set these goals, you can find yourself very lost all the time and unhappy in everything that you're doing. So,
Nah, man.
Damn. I love you should think
like, hey, this guy this guy's a spitty.
I love how it came together, bro. It got sad. It got sad and depressing at some point, but I think it's something that I'm also just like, it's quite, because remember, you saw now I was even talking about social media, and then you're like, nah, bro, forget about social media. It's me next to you right now. You see, square up at church. You next to people.
Exactly.
Let's square up at work. It's like, man, we work together, get the same salary, but what's happening there?
So that's when you start like, man, no. I think that's where the pressure then comes from. And again, like you said, right, managing my expectations. You say, okay, no, this is actually my life. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying to, or rather, like, this is how I'm trying to live, rather than. And I think also, it's for me. I understand how I understand it. No, I'm not even saying all of a sudden now cut out that friend that is driving a G-Wagon, to class or whatever. No, keep the friend. But I think it's just a matter of understanding that this is your life and this is how you planning to do it, versus succumbing to the peer pressure of saying, okay, now, because it's like I'm thinking now, like with relationships, right? With relationships and whatnot, if our homies our peers are getting married, we're gonna start feeling the pressure of getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, man, why do I want to get married? Why do I want to have, and now you end up, you don't have your own reason to want to get married.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I want to get married because all of my homies are getting married. And that's not enough reason to get married. You know what I mean?
Good enough reason.
Bruh,
Yeah.
that's not even,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even like level 1 good. You know, that's just not a reason at all.
That's very common.
Exactly.
I want to buy a car because my homies are doing it. I want to
Yeah.
buy a house because the homies say it's a good idea or they're doing it. I want to get married.
Yeah.
I want to have kids because the
Yeah.
homies are doing it. Whereas you are actually not ready. So a lot of introspection takes you a long way.
So I think that's the trap most of us, I think also it ties in nicely now with life outside university or life after university, where that first year of working, people you graduated with, you see them buying cars.
Yeah.
And then you're like, bruh, we just graduated.
Where the money coming from?
Bruh, we haven't even worked like 2 months. Already you have a car. That time maybe say you don't even have a license yourself.
Hundreds,
you know?
yeah.
And so I think that's where like all of those traps start getting us. Where it's like you see your peers, you see guys that you chat with on WhatsApp, that you went to classes with, getting cars, getting married. You know, getting married maybe it's a bit far, but just like the car thing, because getting a car is quite easy. You know?
Yeah.
So maybe getting married, maybe it's a bit far also, you know?
Yeah.
But like getting a car, because like the moment you start working, my banks, they want to give you that loan.
You don't have to put too much thought into it.
Bruh, you can like wake up tomorrow, get a car, you know? Because the bank is going to approve. Now,
you
like,
have
okay,
potential.
no, check your credit score.
Sharp,
Okay,
let's
sharp.
go, yeah.
Hey, that first month. You know? So I think that's the trap that we always like end up falling in. Where it's like that first year, after university, we see our peers buying cars. We see our peers staying in like crazy apartments, you know? Like, hey, where is this person staying? You know? And then we end up also subconsciously falling into that.
Quick question: would you let your kid take a gap year?
Yeah, I would.
Would you what's that word? Would you
Sponsor?
Not sponsor. I mean, sponsor, yeah, but is it something that you would highly recommend?
Yeah, I would, bro. I would. I think I would, man, because I feel like me and you, I feel like we still have, I'm gonna call them traumas from our parents, where our parents had to finish high school, go to varsity, and get to work. And so when we were also growing up, because essentially they raised us, right? So we saw them doing that. I mean, I think my mom got me when she was still in varsity, you know? So, I mean, I didn't see that. But like when I talk to you, old lady, you can just hear it. Okay, that's how life was, you know? So I think we grew up with those traumas of from high school, don't waste time.
We didn't have the privilege of time, yeah.
Yeah, just from high school, grade 12, don't waste time being, I'm finding myself. Go straight to varsity.
Find yourself.
Hey, when the money people
Find yourself. You'll find yourself.
You'll find yourself in university.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's that. But dog, for me, I'm going to like advocate for that. So say, listen, Tuana, you want to take a gap year, 1 year, 2 years? Oh, easy. Take a gap year, relax. Because I mean, I think also like with your matric results, right? They don't expire. If you passed grand, you can take your gap year, come back in 5 years or 1 year or 6 months or whenever. Then you do. And I think also that's where, because from high school, you go straight to university, you actually don't realize what you want to do and what you like. And you know what I mean? And okay, cool. Because like for me, like I said, I just went from high school straight to chemical engineering. Maybe had I known that actually I'm going to end up being a data scientist, I might have done a comp-sci degree or like a BSc in data science. And then from there, just go straight into data scientist, you know, without having maneuvered all of these other things. You find we had people in our class back in varsity where they did medicine and then they dropped medicine to do chemical engineering. And it's like, what do you mean?
Hundreds, yeah.
You see what I mean? And so I think it's that way. Maybe if you had that 1 year, 6 months, you could have been like, actually, I don't want to do medicine.
Yeah.
So for me, 100% fair to, if umuntu wants to take gap year, 1 year, 2 years, however many years, I think also it's up to me then to ensure that they have that liberty, that freedom to be able to take
The
a gap
gap,
year. So,
I was gonna say even now, like, people shouldn't go now and say, I want to take gap year just for like, gap year has to be intentional and it
Facts.
has a plan to say, I'm taking this year because I need to explore A, B, C, and D. And you try to do like shadowing, internships, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Find what you like, find what you don't like. But also, I think the most important thing that you saying we didn't have the privilege of time, and time being the fact that we couldn't just sit and do nothing at home.
Yeah.
We also ran the risks of getting sucked in by a gas, because if you have too much time, you might think, let me just go to the corner store. You know what, a cigarette. From there, hey, I'm bored. Let's try this. And that's how a lot of people get lost.
End up being sucked in by that life, and whatnot.
Man, I think we've covered quite a bit and more.
For sure.
Quite a bit and more. It's really a tough journey, and it's one that we are also just learning and trying to understand. But other than that, anything in closing?
What in closing? I mean, I think just expectations. I think just expectations, meaning, as people, let's manage expectations, because I think this thing of managing expectations is very big in the workspace. Manage scope, manage expectations, but like even in real life, manage your expectations, manage your scope with your family, with yourself, but also importantly with your peers, because also I think in closing, right? It's like you find your people, your peers, your friends are like, oh no, Chomi, oh AOG, let's go to Harties, let's go to Cape Town. Because that, to them, that's possible, that's easy, and also in their mind they have that expectation that I also can afford a trip to Cape Town.
Let's just go.
Let's dog. I've already booked a ticket for us for tomorrow. Let's just go for tomorrow. What do you mean, dog? What do you mean? Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Good, like, then it's important for us, because it's important for us to manage my expectations from our peers, because those are the people we actually interact with most of our time. Work is pretty easy to manage, because you just tell them, hey, listen, I don't have capacity.
And there's a rubric for that already exists.
Yeah. So that's my 2 cents in closing.
Appreciate it, Machi. We'll check.
That's easy.
We'll check it again in the next episode.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And for now, it's peace.
Away.